Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. The time is now 6:02 p.m. Call to order this regular scheduled meeting of the Oconee County Council. Today is August 4th, 2026. We'll begin with a moment of silence. Mr. Hart, would you please pray for us?
Yes, sir. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the sun. And thank us that we all can say that we were able to get up out of the bed this morning and put our feet on the floor. I pray that you would give us wisdom as we go through this meeting, and may we do what is good for the county and also pleasing for you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Flint Baldwin, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sir.
Before we continue on, I do want to make a motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to make this in one motion, is to remove discussion regarding economic development matter project homecoming, as well as reorder the agenda to move executive session following the public hearing.
I second.
Second, any discussion? Who not, all in favor? All right. County attorney comments.
No, sir, not at this time.
Thank you, sir. Administrator comments?
Not this time, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, consent agenda, we have a motion to approve as presented.
Make a motion. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have public comment. As a reminder, you have 5 minutes to speak. When you get close to the time limit at 1 minute, Ms. Adams has a clock on the wall, and also, since I'm right in front of you, hold up a 1 minute warning. As time expires, the clock will go red, and I will also try to hold up the red sign. I ask that you please keep the comments related to county business, and council will not comment out and back during this time. This is a separate council member comment session followed.
We have Mr. Christopher Huss.
All right, good evening, distinguished members of the council and good citizens of Oconee County. My name is Christopher Huss, and I live within the Corinth-Shiloh Special Tax District. I'm here tonight to share some thoughts on the proposed amendment to the ordinance for that district. First off, I want to thank the current fire commissioners for serving during this transition. It's my understanding you were appointed without full knowledge of what that transition would look like. And I can't imagine how difficult it's been. It's definitely not an enviable position to be in at the moment. After meeting with a couple of the commissioners, I have great appreciation for their vision for the fire department and programs to better the community. They often express their appreciation for the volunteers and all that had served the community for decades. After taking time to speak with them, some of the former volunteers, and attend the county council meetings, my concern is not necessarily with the fire department or the commissioners, as I believe that the present issues can and will be resolved in time. My main concern is with the change in the ordinance as proposed by the commissioners to the council. The original ordinance stated that the county council would initially appoint the commissioners, but after 2 years, the community would have the opportunity to elect the fire commissioners in the subsequent general elections. When I asked about the proposed amendment, it was explained to me that there's still so much confusion and legal issues revolving around the transition that the best course of action is to continue with the current Board of Commissioners and forgo elections at this time. To that, I have 3 things to say. Best for whom? The current commission is approaching 2 years to complete the transition. They now seem to be at an impasse with the volunteers. Feelings have been hurt, emotions are running high. Maybe it would be best to have a new Board of Commissioners with new and unbiased people to try and resolve the conflict and handle the transition. Also, elections aren't held because they're convenient, but because the people have the right to voice their concerns and approval and/or disapproval via the ballot box. It's not to say that the current commissioners wouldn't be reelected. They might and possibly will get reelected, but in that case, at least the tax-paying people of the district have had a say in that process. If the current commission wants to ease the transition without an election, then why not change the current ordinance to commence elections for the fire commissioners in 2028 instead of 2026? I think that's an easy adjustment that could be made to the ordinance as proposed. So contrary to what's been reported in social media, the concern is not about a small group perpetrating falsehoods and the back and forth of the rumors that we've heard. It's about the county council voting on a change in the ordinance to remove the opportunity for the people of the tax district to select their fire commissioners and hold them accountable via elections. Our entire American system is based on the principles of representative government, in which those that are elected govern by the consent of the governed. An appointed board, vice, and elected board removes the citizens' consent. Some people might ask, why is the appointment of the commissioners so important? The fire commissioners hire the chief, approve the budget, organize community events, and ensure that the department is staffed with trained, qualified, and equipped individuals that we may have to rely on for an emergency response or to save our lives. There has to be accountability for the commissioners if they aren't doing their job, staying below the budget, working with the community, hiring and firing chiefs if necessary. This accountability comes through voting by the people of the tax district. The county council should not pass the new proposed ordinance as written. The new ordinance gives county council the right to appoint whomever they like to be fire commissioners. What will the basis for these appointments be? Can we clarify how the council selects impartial, qualified candidates to fill the commissioner's role? Does an application process exist? Without transparency in the appointment process, the perception could be that the council will appoint commissioners using favoritism, nepotism, etc. The proposed ordinance removes our right to elect our fire commissioners. That, despite all the other issues, is what the people of the district are upset about. And in any case, I know if you all vote to amend this ordinance tonight, there won't be elections in November. But if there are, if you decide not to overturn, or if you decide not to pass the amended ordinance, to give everybody an option, I have filed to run for fire commission so that there's another option on the ballot in November. In any case, if you decide to pass the ordinance and not allow us to vote, then I would like to offer my name as someone that you could consider for a future fire commission position, if it's needed. With that, I know my time's about up, so I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight, and thank you all for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Huss.
Mr. Red Gardner,
Hi, my name's Red Gardner. I live in Seneca. Just a few issues I want to talk about. One is the condition of Old Clemson Highway from 123 over to Highway 130, and it's just a horrible road. There's a lot of frost heaving and tree roots growing. It's like nearly like running on a motocross track. It's so bad. I wish y'all could do something about that. It's been like that for 30 years that I've lived here, and it's ridiculous. I mean, that's a major road. And every time I go down that road, trucks, the ball joints are screaming, stop, get off. Anyhow, next thing is the Man Convenience Center. There used to be a really nice old one at Strawberry Farm Road, but someone decided they needed a real fancy new one, which they made it completely inefficient. The old one, you could back 6 cars up the thing, 6 people could unload at once. Now you have to wait for the person at the head of the line to wait until he gets done doing his thing, and then and the next person rolls it. It's almost as bad as the way they have it set up at the school system to pick up the kids in the morning or in the afternoon. I propose that you have a lane closest to the dumpsters, and then a lane off to the side where the gravel is, and then a row where you go right up the middle. Now, someone mentioned to me that, that could cause someone to get run over. Well, then you could put a beware, pedestrian sign there, or yellow markers, whatever it takes. It would just make it more efficient, getting that place working better. That's item 2. Item number 3, Highway 130 near Newry, going up towards Salem. As you all know, and it's been brought up before, there's the exit for Newry Road, and then there's the exit to turn left into some rich people's subdivision. There's a lot of accidents along that road because there's no turnouts there. And you all know it. I got a house there right next to that intersection, and about once a week, there's an accident. It's ridiculous. There needs to be a widened area there. Plus, down the road in the future, y'all gonna allow that gentleman who put in the new mini storage place there to have turnouts there, and it's just gonna cause more congestion. So, that's something you might wanna think about in the future, having a turnout lane for that guy. Fine. Last item. Light at Carson Road and US 123. I added up, if I have to go through that intersection twice a day, 5 days, 5 times a week, I'm spending 12 and a half hours at that light waiting for a 90-second light to change. It takes 90 seconds for that light to change. It's ridiculous. And then when you go through it, you got less than 4 seconds to get through the intersection. And I tell you, every time I go through that, by the time I get to the next crosswalk heading north along Carson Road, where it turns into, I think, Kiowee Road, the light's already turned green for the other people. It's crazy, and there has been a lot of accidents because people, they start rushing that yellow light, thinking, I'm gonna get through here, and then they have an accident, they hit another car going from the side, or they slam their brakes on and somebody, usually nearly runs into someone. So there needs to be a longer yellow light there and a shorter time to get through the intersection. I mean, a minute's cool, but I'm spending twice a day, 5 times a week, 13 hours, 12, 13 hours a year out of my life, waiting on a damn light. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner.
Mr. David Crockett.
Thank you. I'm Dave Crockett. I live in the Corn-Shiloh Fire District, and you've heard from me before. I do thank you for the opportunity to speak again, and I especially appreciate the opportunity because I know that County Council is not obligated to offer a public comment period before its meetings. I presume your reasoning to allow public comment before the meetings is that you think it's the right thing to do, and I commend that. Genuinely, I do. At the same time, I must reiterate my steadfast opposition to your desire to remove the elective process for commissioners of the Corn-Shiloh Fire District. As I said during your last meeting, that decision is nothing short of a slap in the face to people like me who voted in favor of the referendum to have that tax district created. At the last council meeting, Chairman suggested that an election of fire commissioners shouldn't be held in November for, as I interpreted it, so many things were going on. I'd submit that even during the Civil War, World War II and World War I, there were a lot of things going on at that time too. But elections were never canceled because of those things. If anything, in this case, an election should be held for the fire commissioners in November exactly because there are a lot of things going on. In the name of fairness and transparency, an election should be held. More importantly, having an election is the right thing to do. This council has asked its attorney whether it's legal to rescind the ordinance creating the special tax district entirely. In an exchange with the chairman personally over Substack, the chairman conceded there are conflicting state attorney general opinions about whether that's an appropriate action for a referendum generated tax district by county council. Given that there is no specific answer to that question that I've been able to find, I'll be very interested to see and hear what advice the county attorney gives you on that matter. Regardless of his advice, though, I would suggest that even if you feel you have the right to override the results of a public referendum arbitrarily, doing so doesn't necessarily make it right. Doing the right thing is a mark of true leadership, and you have demonstrated leadership before. I encourage the council to do the right thing now. Abandon the plan to remove the fire district commissioners from standing for election in November and allow it to proceed. And more importantly, abandon the campaign to override the results of that referendum entirely. Do the right thing, gentlemen, please. Thank you.
That's all we have to see.
Thank you. I'll move to council member comments. Hearing none, I'll say that I'll wait for my discussion on the fire district until we get to that agenda item. But Mr. Gardner, is he still here? I'll go to the Strawberry Farm and see what you're talking about. I don't use that convenience center. But every road you mention is a state highway. I will we used to have a highway commissioner, but I think the new DOT bill did away with the commissioners. They used to be very responsive. I'll find out who we need to contact, and I'll make those issues notified to the correct SCDOT person.
You'll meet me at the MCC, I'll show you what I got. I got a drawing that will look good.
Okay, and you got my email, so just email me. That's it, anybody else?
Yeah. I didn't hear transparency mentioned, but we all know what it is. I talked about it last week. But I was just checking the budget for the new fire district is on the internet so that you can check it. But I do have some questions for you, as far as talking about transparency. Does anyone know how much money is in that that 501C account? Does anyone know how much money that the citizens have voluntarily gave to the volunteer fire department? Does anyone know how many grants they've gotten from the government for that facility? So I want, when you talk about transparency, I want to see where the real transparency is. There's a budget that you can go on their website and look at it. And I don't remember ever seeing a budget by the old volunteer fire department. I knew they had to have one, but I never seen one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Any other comments? All right, here now, we'll move to public hearing. We have a public hearing for one ordinance. That's ordinance 2026-23, and ordinance amending ordinance 2024-26, entitled "An Ordinance Establishing the Corinth Shiloh Special Purpose Tax District for Fire Protection, Establishing the Corinth Shiloh Special Purpose Tax District Commission, and other related matters."
Make a motion.
This is public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. William Miller.
Good evening. I appreciate y'all giving me the time to speak. I didn't really prepare any comments. I just decided to come to see what everybody had to say. And I live in that fire district. And in all, for the gentleman that spoke earlier, with all due respect to him, I voted no for it. My first comment is, I don't really think a lot of people really knew what they were voting for, because it was very, very poorly written on the ballot. I did a little bit of research about it myself, and when I did my research online and kind of figured out what it was trying to do, I said, I don't really want that. I guess my comments are this: I don't understand exactly, the budgeting and everything. I know that, as I've read, that the volunteer fire department was operating on $400 and something thousand a year, and also our donations, which I donated at least twice a year to that volunteer fire department, and now they have a budget of about $1.5 million. I know they have areas that they have to take care of out there, especially 123, which there's a lot of people that run red lights out there, and so there's crashes and all that kind of stuff. I don't see where the money should be coming out of my pocket as a taxpayer, extra money, because I'm in that tax district, for people that are running up and down 123 that don't live anywhere close to me, and they're, causing accidents, that kind of thing. So as far as I'm concerned, I think we need to relook at it, because I did do a little bit of research on what it would be involved to try to put that back on the ballot, to basically have people vote again to withdraw that tax district. And it's it's ridiculous. It's like you got to go out and get petitions signed by X number of people and so forth and so on, that a lot of those people that live there, I don't think are probably permanent residents. I don't know how many people voted in that election. I know it passed at like 70-something%, but I would be willing to bet that probably, I bet you less than 50%, maybe even 25, actually voted in the election. So my thing is, first of all, talking about the what the one gentleman spoke about the vote. I think if we're gonna go with keeping that fire district, we should be able to vote on who's on that board, in November. And, but I also think that there should be a way that makes it easier for us to go back and look at it again and revote as a community to say if we even want to have one. Because I think it's a huge waste of money, in my opinion. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Mr. David Schuer.
Good evening, gentlemen. With all the social media foolishness going on, I wanted to share what's actually happening in the fire department itself. I wanted to take a few minutes to share what's been accomplished since I began serving as the fire chief on January 1, 2026. And more importantly, I wanted to recognize the exceptional firefighters and emergency responders who now serve that community every day. When I arrived, there was no established operational structure for a district-run fire department. There was no completed staffing models, no organized system of policies, procedures, or any plan for the future. My first responsibility was to establish and identify a district's immediate needs and plan to transition to a new district fire department. We developed a comprehensive handbook, established policies, procedures, training standards, reporting requirements, staffing expectations, and a systems of accountability. We've created a staffing model based on the actual emergency response needs of the district. By March, the Corinth-Shiloh Fire District had staffed its own fire department and began operations. Today, we have over 20 firefighters who are employed by the department, 8 volunteers, 17 of our staff are EMTs, and 1 is a paramedic. 2 additional members are in EMT school. EMTs are assigned to every single shift, every single day. Our current staffing model provides 5 firefighters during the day, 3 on duty at night, with a minimum of 2 on mandatory recall at night. This has been more than double the personnel available to respond to emergencies since the county was in the location. Together, the members of this department bring more than 300 years of combined emergency response experience to the Corinth-Shiloh Fire District. That experience matters. When someone calls 911, it's often one of the worst moments of that person's life. At that moment, citizens should not have to wonder whether their fire department is staffed, equipped, whether its equipment works, or whether its firefighters are properly trained and ready to go. They should know that help is coming. They should know that we are prepared. When I arrived, the station required significant attention. Roaches and mice needed to be eradicated. The building and many of its vital components needed to be replaced and repaired. Our fire engines and vehicles also required immediate work. We addressed sticking brakes, inoperable brake lights, faulty emergency lights, electrical problems, air conditioning issues, alternating issues, worn batteries, oil leaks, and other mechanical and safety concerns. Expired protective equipment is presently being replaced. Expired fire hose and broken nozzles are now being replaced. Rescue equipment has been repaired and/or replaced. These are not cosmetic improvements. These were life safety and health hazard issues to affect our firefighters and our citizens. We also eliminated several unnecessary and costly contracts, reducing expenses. One of our most important accomplishments was attaining a medical licensure agreement that allowed our district to provide EMT-level care service to our citizens. That capability was not in place prior to my arrival. Today, trained medical responders are available on every single shift. We've also established a government purchasing and government accounts that allow the district to pursue grants, participate in reduced cost purchasing programs, and better protect the taxpayers' money. The district remains committed to operating within its millage, and we have no intention of increasing taxes unnecessarily. The equipment currently in dispute was acquired through citizens' tax dollars, public grants, and donations made for fire department operations. Those matters will continue to be handled through the proper legal channels. There has also been inaccurate information circulated on social media regarding the district, the board, the department, and me personally. Some of it appears to intend to discredit the progress that's being made. This will not distract this department from answering calls and protecting the public. The truth can be seen in the firefighters who report for duty, the training conducted every day, the repaired equipment, the increased staffing, the expanded capabilities of calls being answered throughout the district. Their dedication is to you, the citizens. I respond alongside our firefighters 7 days a week. I know their abilities, I know their character, I know how seriously they take the responsibility entrusted to them. We have answered every single call without delay. This department was not built for one individual or one group. It was built for the people of the Corinth-Shiloh Fire District. I am extremely proud of our firefighters. They are experienced, capable, compassionate, and committed. They are a family and a team. They respond to dangerous environments, provide care to strangers, and are willing to sacrifice everything for our community. We have accomplished a tremendous amount in a short time, but our work is not finished. The community deserves a professional, prepared, properly equipped, and fully functioning fire department. That is the department standing ready today. And that is the level of service that we will continue providing the citizens of the Corinth Shiloh Fire District. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Misty Morris.
Good evening, council. My name is Misty Morris, and I have the honor of being a commissioner at the Corinth Shiloh Fire Department. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I just want to take a few minutes and give you some updates about what's going on at the fire department. Forgive me if I speak on the same thing that Chief did. I'm going to try to modify. He and I had some great think-alike moments, apparently. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that we make clear this evening is that when 911 dispatches our firefighters, they are coming. There has been some concern in our community that they're not gonna have fire trucks coming. I've had neighbors asking me, calling me, and being curious as to what's going on. We are coming. We had, for instance, on Sunday, the department had 4 calls in approximately 12 minutes, and all of those were covered by our department. These firefighters have trained daily for these type of situations. The department has improved safety for our firefighters and community by providing improved vehicle safety, repairs, new turnout gear, hoses, new lift bags, and various other gears and tools. These purchases were made, as Chief had said, because things were out of date or broken or needed upgrading. The department has also acquired much-needed water rescue equipment, which has actually been used this week at the department. One area of improvement that I am personally very proud about is the community risk reduction program being implemented. The firefighter overseeing this area is actually Herschel Waldrop. He was here and he had to leave, but he wanted me to let the council know if you had further questions, a packet has been dropped off for you. But if you had further questions, he would be glad to speak with each one of you all personally. The core risk reduction programs that are being implemented are student housing and traffic safety, youth and leadership development, community seasonal education and outreach, smoke alarm installation and home safety, community events, hazardous material incident preparedness. You'll hear me say the word in a moment, AskRail. The department will be hosting monthly classes, and that packet shows each one of those classes that we will be having for you to review. Herschel has also comprised an emergency recovery guide checklist. Personally, I think this is genius. I never would have even thought about this. But basically, if you need an assistance for if you've had a fire in your home, a car fire, or unfortunately, if you have a loved one pass away, there is a packet in which you will be given to make sure that you know the steps to take next, and the firefighter will be able to go over it with you. And if something happens to our community members and they have questions, they can always reach us during business hours with that as well. The department has also begun the Explorers program. This program is similar to a program you may have heard called Junior Firefighters. The Explorers who complete this program through the department will be able to, on their 18th birthday, go ahead and enter the burn building, completing their firefighter training, and will go ahead and be able to be firefighters or volunteer firefighters. AskRail program, in conjunction with the Norfolk Southern Rail Line, allows our department to know in real time what materials are being transported on the railway and where those railways are approximately as the trains are moving. This gives much improved safety and community care in case of derailment, as where previously they have had some derailments and not been able to get to the manifest. This way they will have it immediately. These are just a few of the things that are going on that are really great at the department that I just wanted to take time to highlight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Morris.
Mr. Huss, would you like to speak again?
Sure.
Okay. You had to sign both, so.
I wasn't sure whether or not to sign up for one or both, so I'll take whatever time I get, I guess. So I had my prepared remarks, but let me just say on this ordinance, so my wife and I, we moved into the district in January of 2025, so we were unaware of anything that was going on with the fire district. And so we're kind of playing catch up into what has transpired with all this. I think if we had lived here during the referendum vote, I probably would have voted no, just because there's something that grates against the American in me when we add layers of taxes in government. I'm never in favor of more taxes or more government. That's just my opinion. But in any case, you know, it was voted in. We have the framework that we have now. Like I said, I believe the issues between the fire tax district and the volunteers can and will be resolved in time. But I guess in order to avoid any more turmoil, we should just continue with the tax district as it stands right now. And that is with, I believe, with the current ordinance. So I believe that y'all should vote no on the amended ordinance. You know, allow us the opportunity to have elections. I think that's the way that we, the people, get a voice in how our communities are run. So if it pleases the council, I would ask you to vote no, so that we do get that opportunity to voice our opinion. And, you know, like I said earlier, perhaps the current members would get reelected. But if not, you know, there could be a good opportunity for some new people to get in there and either continue what they started or make any changes that are necessary. So again, I appreciate the time. Thank you for allowing me to share, and good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Huss.
Mr. Gardner?
It's already been mentioned.
Okay. Mr. Jim Miller?
Thank you, Commissioners, Council, whatever your title is, I don't know. You asked a question about the budget, or the money that's in the 501(c)(3). All I know is rumor. I'll give you a number that I've heard. It's $209,000. That answers that question, I guess. You brought up about the budget and go online. Last night I was at the meeting and I asked about the budget. They said that we could stay after the meeting and we could see the budget. I couldn't stay last night, and they started to indicate that we could go to their website, and then in the next breath, they said the website's not working. So I don't know how we're supposed to get the budget. I got away from my initial, so I gotta get caught up with myself. One of the things, people my age shouldn't be standing up here doing this. It should be the younger people, but they're so busy working to take care of their families and earn the tax money to pay, to run the county, the state, the feds, that they don't have time to involve themselves. You know, at my age, I shouldn't be here. I should be home watching TV in my recliner sleeping. So, you all are charged with protecting the taxpayers' money that they have paid. And I sometimes question whether that's being done properly or not. Anyway, that's beside the point. We had the election in November of '24, and to my knowledge, it was certified election, which means that when it's certified, you have to follow what's in that elected document. And you all have hired attorneys to get around the elected items that are in it. So I don't know why you would spend the money to have an attorney decide whether you can or can't get away from what we said in the ballot issue. Now, if we decided to get an attorney to challenge whatever y'all are doing, we'd have to go out of town. We'd have to go out of the county. Because I don't think any smart attorney would take on anything to go against the commission. Because they would be blackballed just sure as the world. Mr. Chairman, last time we were here, you pontificated for a while and stated that there's chaos at the firehouse. yet in the next breath, you said, we want to keep the same people in place. Now, if there's chaos, why do you want to keep the same people? If I understand correctly, that these people were appointed, some are relatives of yours, some are cronies of yours, that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I don't know why you would want to keep the same people in place. Maybe if they run and get elected, as we're supposed to be doing, that would be one thing. But that is what we voted on to do, and I'm not even going to address the .25 thing. That's just another subject that we'll have to bring up at a later time when you all decide to increase the taxes. I don't think I've got anything else that needs to be said other than I think we need to follow what was done in November of '24 and follow what was elected or at that time. Thank you.
Monty Marcingill.
Monty Marcingill. I do live in the Corinth Tax District, and I would like to make a statement. Hopefully some people will understand. As soon as I find it. What's happening at Corinth should concern every taxpayer and every person who donated money, equipment, or supplies to a charitable, nonprofit organization believing they were helping to protect the community. The former volunteer organization is not a fire department. It does not perform fire department functions. It does not respond to calls. It does not staff the fire station, command emergency scenes, train or supervise firefighters currently serving the district, provide medical response, or carry the responsibility of protecting the citizens who call 911. Corinth Fire District is functioning fire department serving this community and is doing very well with an increased level of service. Yet the former organization continues to use the fire department language and imagery in ways to appear to be confusing the public. In Facebook pages, they use the name Corinth-Shiloh Volunteer Fire Department, Inc., while its profile image says Corinth Shiloh Fire and Emergency Services and lists the fire department address operated by the fire district. Its website welcomes visitors to the Corinth Shiloh Fire Department, displays the same fire and emergency services logo, and features photographs of the fire trucks and fire station. It also includes a link for Special Purpose District, which gives the appearance that the former organization and the governmental fire district are jointly operating under the same fire department, while the former organization continues presenting itself as the fire department on social media and its website. A person unfamiliar with everything that's taken place could reasonably look at that Facebook page or website and believe that the former organization is the fire department responding to emergencies in Corinth-Shiloh. It is not. That distinction should be clear anywhere the former organization presents itself to the public. Although it may not be conducted in an active fundraising campaign, I understand it continues to receive donations from people who may not realize it is not a fire department because of the way it continues to represent itself on social media and its website. These donors may believe they are supporting the firefighters and answering calls in this district. They are not. Those donations have not been provided to the fire district or the fire department answering calls in this community. That distinction should be made unmistakably clear. A person who makes a donation because they believe they're helping the fire department and the firefighters who may respond to their home should not later discover that the donation went to a private organization that no longer performs fire department functions. A donor should not have to research ordinances, corporate records, nonprofit filings, or years of conflict to determine whether the organization receiving the donation is actually a fire department. South Carolina law prohibits knowing and willful misrepresentation or misleading conduct in connection with charitable solicitations. I'm not declaring a violation has been proven. I'm saying that these donations, public representations, charitable filings, and expenditures deserve examination by authorities. Taxpayers and donors deserve to know what money has been received, what donors were told, whether they were clearly informed that the organization is not a fire department, whether the current fire station, fire apparatus, fire district information, or fire department imagery was used in connection with those donations, how the money is being spent, and what charitable purpose is presently being served by an organization that continues to present itself as a fire department while performing no fire department functions. No organization should benefit from public confusion. There are also serious concerns involving funds properly obtained through tax dollars, government grants, and donations for fire department operations. Taxpayers paid for those resources, donors contributed for fire protection, and government agencies provided grants to support the emergency services for the citizens of Corinth Shiloh. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Crockett?
No script this time. So I don't have a whole lot else to say from beyond what I said now. I would take some issue with the notion that the people of Corinth Shiloh, the voters in Corinth Shiloh Fire District, didn't know what they were voting for. I think that's an insult to the intelligence of the people in Corinth Shiloh Fire District, to suggest otherwise. To Commissioner Morris, I would say, I would be willing to accept absolutely on face value everything you say that has been done. Everything you describe is absolutely what should be done. But if you are so proud of that, why don't you want to stand for election? That's a good question that I would like to have answered, but this is not the forum for that to happen. We'll be back before you in another meeting to ask that question directly. Do the right thing, gentlemen. Follow the will of the voters as the result of that referendum. Don't try to run circles around it. Don't claim that it's because it's just too difficult to do it now. It's not too difficult to do the right thing. Thank you.
Christine Levesque?
Hello, Chairman, council members. I could stand here and speak about the Fire Commission and the volunteer organization. Considering I had a front row seat, being the first paid fire tax district employee, so I was present at all of the meetings. I was aware of the direction of that the commission was moving toward until January of 2026. But I'll first address a couple things. A lot of this is covered already by previous speakers. Our name is the Corinth Shiloh Volunteer Fire Department, Inc. That is a legal name. Sorry. As far as donations, we did a vote in March that any donations would go toward the mortgage payment of the building that we no longer have access to. And a mortgage payment that is not being made by the tax district, even though it was a line item in their budget. I could go into all of that, but I guess that's for another day and time. Because just like Mr. Huss said, I do believe all this is going to get resolved. So what I'm here for today is, since this ordinance is before you, it's a lot more important regarding the vote of the people. You're deciding on removing a vote when you already removed the ability for them to put, the community selected 5 commissioners, just as you had asked them to do back in 2025. They submitted them, they followed all the instructions that council requested, but yet you didn't think, I guess, that they were trustworthy enough to select the members that they wanted appointed by your board or your council. So you only gave them 1. You put your hand-picked selections on that didn't go through the same process that the others did. And so now we're here today where you're wanting to take away their vote again because you didn't have enough trust for them to select their first fire commissioners. Now you don't have enough trust for them to work through this situation between the volunteer organization and the fire tax district. when are you gonna be able to trust the people of that district that pay the taxes that are covering the tax money the district is receiving? At your last meeting, you had said that the fire service is an important thing not to be played with. I 100% agree. I would like to set the record straight that the volunteer organization hasn't prevented any equipment or assets to be used, and as I see it, they've been using them, the fire tax district, from day one. They're in possession of all of it, so nothing's being restricted. Nothing's being kept. If anything, we're being restricted from entering into a building that we're paying a mortgage for that should be covered by the tax district. And before anyone says anything back about, well, you gotta come to the table. Well, we were told by their attorney that the mortgage wouldn't be able to be taken care of because the lease wasn't in their name. Well, the lease has been in their name, and there's been a public release by the fire tax district that they have an exclusive lease with Clemson. So what's the holdup? Why is the mortgage still being paid by the volunteer fire department, Inc.? But I digress. Fire service is important. If protecting the community is truly your priority as a council, then the community's voice is just as important. The residents who pay that fire tax district money deserve a meaningful say in who governs it. And it's not about choosing sides or supporting one candidate over another. It's about whether the people lose their right to select commissioners this November or any other election. I respectfully ask you to restore that right by not passing this ordinance today and allowing the Corinth-Shiloh Fire Tax District and the community to proceed with the original ordinance. Thank you for my time, or your time.
That's all we have this evening.
Thank you. I need a motion to enter executive session for 2 items. One, receive legal advice related to a potential claim. 2, discuss a personnel matter related to the county auditor's office.
Make a motion.
All in favor? Executive session, motion second, all in favor? There's no action that needs to be taken following executive session. So we move on to third reading. We have one ordinance. Ordinance 2026-23 is an ordinance amending ordinance 2024-26 entitled an ordinance establishing the Cornish Charter Special Purpose Tax District for fire protection, establishing the Cornish Charter Special Purpose Tax District Commission and other related matters.
Make a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? I'd like to make a motion to amend the ordinance as we discussed last meeting to include the red line items that's in the backup material that sets it to where for any tax increase above the millage cap, it goes back to the voters for a referendum.
Second.
Second, in discussion on that amended? All in favor of the amendment? I'd also like to make a motion that upon passage of ordinance 2026-23, the current commission members are reappointed.
Second.
Second.
Anything on that motion, any discussion? None? All in favor? I just want to say that it's very disappointing. You know, people went out in the community and got votes to create a tax district for fire protection. That tax district was created. It became the fire service provider in that county. And somebody stood up and spoke, and I went and looked it up. Everything online, social media, portrays the former volunteer organization as the fire district in the community. And that's not correct advertising. It's also disappointing that one of the officers of that fire organization stood here and said that they're still taking donations. That's very disappointing when you look at, I'm sure people look at all the marketing and assumes that they are providing the fire protection when they're not. To me, that's soliciting donations under false pretenses. That's my opinion. Every piece of equipment down there was bought for with either taxpayer money or community donations for fire protection. And to withhold that from the community is very disturbing. If you look at the equipment list, which the former volunteer organization said that it was theirs, it goes down to picture frames, metal bookends, just pettiness when you got public safety on the line. They no longer hold the lease to the land, Clemson transferred that to the special purpose district, but yet they still refuse to release the land or the building to the special purpose district. Instead of taking donations to still pay the mortgage, why not take your cash on hand and pay off the mortgage and transfer it to the fire district? Because the people donated and tax money went to it for fire protection. I did pull up the Secretary of State website. Secretary of State website, their filings says for year 2024, under the description, it says to provide primary firefighting and emergency response services with the Corinth Shiloh Fire District. That's no longer the case of what this organization is doing. Mr. Hart asked about financials. It looks like they claim a total assets of about $1.1 million. With total liabilities, I'm assuming the building of $228,000. So either way, you got $873,000 of public money, either from taxpayers or from donations that was given for public safety that's being held hostage in a petty dispute by people who advocated for the creation of that same district. So I encourage everybody to get together for the public good, for public safety, for your community. I assume you volunteered for years to serve your community. There's no greater service now than to do what's right. Somebody say, do what's right, and transfer the assets, the public assets, for the public good and for protection. That's all I have. Anybody else? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to, we have second reading for two ordinances. One is ordinance 2026-24, an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of easement rights to Oak Country Fiber for the purpose of utility infrastructure construction and maintenance at property owned by Oconee County located at the intersection of Nebo Church Road and Harbin Acre Roads, Seneca, South Carolina. Such property currently identified by tax parcel number 256-00-04-031 and other matters related thereto.
Make a motion.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. This is ordinance 2026-25, an ordinance for the preservation, redevelopment, and sale of historic Oconee County Courthouse located at 211 West Main Street, Walhalla, South Carolina, and other related matters.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We have one resolution, Resolution 2026-09, a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a revised operating agreement between and among the Oconee County Humane Society Incorporated, the Oconee County Sheriff, and Oconee County pertaining to operations at the Oconee County Animal Shelter and other matters related thereto.
Make a motion.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have council committee reports. We have two. First, Transportation Committee, Mr. Hart.
Thank you. At the July 21st, 2022 Transportation Committee, Mr. Kyle Reed provided an update related to a previous request for abandoned portions of Nellie Road, which is County Road WA 21, and a new request to abandon portions of Warrior Creek Drive, which is County Road WA 63. The committee approved the motion to direct the county attorney to draft a resolution to consent to the abandonment of a portion of Nellie Road and to come back before council for consideration of approval. And this will be at a date when the paperwork's all finished. The committee also approved a motion to direct staff to gather information related to the cost and the county assets of Warrior Creek Drive and to report back to the Transportation Committee. The next Transportation Committee will be held Tuesday, September the 15th, 2026, beginning at 4:30.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Law Enforcement, Public Health, and Welfare Committee, Mr. Mize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On July the 21st, 2026, Law Enforcement, Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee meeting, Mr. Swain Steele provided the committee with a solid waste update that included information related to plastic recycling and residential haulers. Sheriff Crenshaw was next up. He provided information related to flock cameras in the county and expressed his support of any and all regulations necessary that will allow the continued use of these cameras by law enforcement. Both of these discussions were very good and very informative. The next Law Enforcement, Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September the 15th, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Mize. I do want to backtrack 1 minute back to the fire district, and I want to make an additional motion. I want to move that the council direct staff and the county attorney to contact the South Carolina Department of State concerning the nonprofit status and the soliciting of donations on behalf of the fire department. That's for the fire department.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We have board and commission appointments. Anybody have any appointments? Hearing none, need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
All in favor?